obviously not the result we were looking for tonight, but, we're playing against a very quality opponent, and I thought those guys did, hats off to the Grizz. I thought they played very hard. Those guys did some things offensively that we really struggled with. I don't think we tackled as well as we would have liked. There was plenty of opportunities to make plays. I thought they did a great job on special teams. I thought they did a great job just owning the field position, especially in the first half, and we were not able to overcome some of those field position deficits as a result on offense. And so, overall, you look at the day, it was a hard-fought battle, but those guys got the better of us today, and they were certainly the better team tonight. So I'll open it up for any questions you guys have.
You guys cut it to 9, went for 2, and got to like 31-22, I think. But then they answered with that drive. I mean, how big was that just in terms of sort of sealing the game?
Yeah, that was a pretty big deal. Obviously when you get a score and you feel like you've got a little bit more momentum, you really want to get a stop. And obviously we were not able to get a stop. But again, it's a credit to their offense. I thought those guys do a really good job. They're one of the top offenses in the country for a reason, and you saw that tonight.
Coach, talking about Michael Wortham, a guy who did a lot of damage at a lot of different positions tonight, special teams, wildcat, receiving. What goes into stopping a guy like that, and just how do you kind of beat you guys tonight?
It's hard, man. That kid's a great player. I told him that. I remember when I was a special teams coordinator here at Idaho, and he was at Eastern, and he did some damage on special teams there. But he's a dynamic player, a guy that if he has the ball in his hands can make a ton of plays. And I think you just got to be able to tackle a guy like that. You got to try to cut him down at the legs, and get that motor cut off as soon as you can, because if he gets rolling, he's tough to tackle. And I think you saw that on a few plays tonight for sure.
It seemed like Montana's running game just got better as the game went along. Why are they so tough to slow down there today?
Well, I think they've got a quality offensive line. They've got some tight ends that can get after it. That running back, number 10, is one of the best running backs in the country. And so, sometimes it's like Novocaine, right? It takes a little bit to get going, but they certainly got it going, especially towards the end of the game.
What do you think of the way your team just sort of rose to the occasion for this rivalry game, the way they fought to the end?
Yeah, that's the thing about my club. I mean, they're going to play hard no matter what the time is, no matter what the score is, and I think you saw that again tonight. We are not in the business of quitting anything. They had a 2-score lead on us, and in our mind, we're going to go get that ball back and try to make it a 1-possession game. And I think you got to clearly see that fight in our team tonight, and I'm very proud of that part. Our guys never quit. Our guys always believed, and more than anything, believed in each other. And I think that's something that you can really build on moving forward.
You were an assistant in 23 when you guys played the Grizz over there. Obviously, they went on to the FCS championship game that year. Did you see any similar championship traits or qualities in the Grizz team you just played today?
Yeah, I mean, that's going to be a team will certainly be, a playoff caliber team, a team that can make a deep run, and I think they have a lot of those ingredients, right? They can run the football. They do a good job making plays on defense, and again, I think they're really well coached. Coach Howe does a great job here. He's the winningest coach in Big Sky for a reason, and so I think this group certainly has some of the tools and some of the ability that you see in that 23 team.
It seemed like they did a couple things offensively in this game they hadn't done this year. They're up tempo maybe a little bit earlier, maybe some more personnel shifting and stuff. Did that catch you guys by surprise? Is that something different that they did?
The tempo was a little bit different. They hadn't showed as much of the tempo. The personnel groupings, though, we've seen all those. I mean, they're in 13, 12, 11. They're pretty much in everything. They're very multiple offensively, but the tempo was something that certainly surprised us a little bit.
How do you think he handled the pressure, especially of the quarterback? How do you think Josh played today?
You'd love him to make a couple of more throws early. He missed a guy in a double move, but Joshua's a competitor. I mean, that guy's going to play hard till the bitter end. You see his scramble ability. You see how elusive he is. Bobby told me that after the game, so we couldn't tackle him. But he's hard guy to tackle, and when he's able to, extend plays, and he had a couple big explosives as a result, right? He's extending plays. Guys get a chance to get behind the secondary, and he definitely did that tonight.
You guys ran him 10 times. Did you want to run him more, or was Montana doing something to take away running opportunities for him?
A lot of his runs run passes, right? He's scrambling. Those are not called runs, and a lot of that's kind of who he is, right? We'll run him a little bit, but we don't want to run Joshua because Joshua is probably our best offensive player, and we want to try to limit the called runs with him. But when he's dynamic as he is, and he can extend plays, and again gash teams with his feet, that's where a lot of his rushing yards really come.
Any more questions before we go to Zoom? Questions from Zoom?
Yeah, I got one. Hey, Coach, how you doing?
Hey,
Yeah, I mean, first off, can you talk about trying to stop Eli Gilman, who 27 carries, 142 yards, 2 touchdowns? What happened there?
well, you know, I thought we did a good job slowing him down, but again, like I told this group here, the guy is a hard runner, and they're going to continue to feed him. And as the game goes on, I think he started to wear our defense down a little bit. He broke some tackles that he wasn't breaking in the first half. So I thought we did a good job on him, but not a great job, and obviously not good enough to win.
And you talked about the belief of this team, the unwavering belief. How do you flush this obviously important game and move on to next week? Obviously, you have a bye week, but the week afterwards, how do you move on from this?
Well, we have no choice, right? And when you really look at our 3 losses this year, we have 2 losses to FBS teams by a combined 6 points, and we lost to the number 4 team in the nation by 11 points in their place in a tough environment. And so you just look at the reality of it. You know, take a step back, because obviously when you're in it, it's tough, right? We lost 2 in a row and all these things. But when you take a step back, and we will do that this weekend, and you really look at the grand scheme of things, everything that we want is still at play for us. An opportunity to make the playoffs, heck, an opportunity to win this league, right? If these guys obviously run the table, they'll win the league. But this is a hard league to run the table in. And if we can do the same thing, we could be in a position to still win our league and certainly make the playoffs as well.
Yeah, my final question is, obviously, you talked about a little bit there too. What does this mean for the Big Sky play going forward for you guys?
I guess I don't understand your question.
How confident do you feel playing Big Sky teams now after a loss like this, I guess?
No, I feel great. I mean, you know, we competed our butts off against a very, very good opponent, a really well-coached opponent. And I think that we're going to have the upper hand in some of these matchups we have coming up. I don't know that we're going to see an opponent quite like this for a little while. But with that being said, every week in the Big Sky, you got to go play like it's a championship game, and that's how we'll attack it.
Any more questions from Zoom?
Coach, you had was out there kicking the field goals instead of Forsman. You talked about a Forsman during the week.
Yep.
What shapes during the week?
Practice, man. You got to go with the guys that are performing in practice. And Owen Adams had a really good week of practice. You know, it was an open competition. We had some pressure kicks. Owen didn't miss any pressure kicks, and you saw that tonight, right? He was 2 for 2. He had all the confidence in the world, and so did we.
And they went over 400 yards total offense on him. What was the hardest part about trying to get him off the field? It was hard to get him off the field.
Yeah, I think their quarterback is a very good player as well. You know, he was a guy that was able to, you know, move around a little bit to extend plays. He found guys in zone coverage, and you know, he made a couple plays when we were in man coverage. And so I think the quarterback really did a great job, kind of accentuating their offense, if so to speak, right? Obviously they can run the football. Obviously number 6 is a very good player, but I thought number 8 was really the difference in terms of moving the chains on 3rd down.
Any more questions?
Sorry, Coach.
That's okay.
A few more. Losing Art and Eli before this game, how crucial was that going into this, and just having Nate mainly as your main guy?
I mean, injuries happen. We have 3 running backs that we feel are starters. And, you know, I thought Nate did a good job. He runs very hard. He's a very physical back. And it obviously hurts not having those 2 guys, but I thought Nate did a great job. And we're still able to do some good things in the run game as well. So I think overall, you know, you want all of your starters, but football's a game of, you know, injuries. And it's not if, but when. And we obviously got a kind of a rash of injuries at that position group, but again, we have a deep room there, so I thought Nate did a good job, Carlos did a good job, so we'll continue to get those guys going and hopefully get Eli back for our Northern Colorado.
My true final last question, no more from you.
You're good, Trevor.
There was in the first half you struggled a little with passing,
Yep.
And then you kind of opened up with those long passes. What about those layups you talked about, the short intermediate passes? Where have those been recently?
Well, when they're playing press man, you can't take layups, right? They're forcing you into deeper passes with conversions and things like that. But again, that's part of the process. You know, they do a good job here on defense, and I think they tried to take those layups away from us, and so we had to look elsewhere.
All right, last call from Zoom. Okay, thanks, Coach.
Awesome. Thanks, guys.